What is going on, everyone? This is Number 2. Welcome, guys, to our Week 3 battle for the LDL versus Mark. Now, unfortunately, as you guys know, of course, I've been gone. And so I kind of left you on a cliffhanger for Week 3 after I uploaded the Team Builder video. I do apologize about that. Just school is priority number 1 for me. And if school has to put this stuff on the back burner, then that's absolutely what's going to happen. We are unfortunately 0-2 this week, and I have a good feeling about it. I had a really good feeling going into this week, you guys. And looking at Mark's team, we have the Klefki, the Cresselia, the Acelgor, the Clefable, the Talonflame, and the Toxapex. Well, if you guys watched my team builder video, if you didn't, please make sure you check that out. We brought our Fortress, our Nidoqueen, our Goodra, our Conkeldurr, our Weavile, and our Entei. Let's go ahead and get into just the recap of the battle. As you guys will see, this week's battle was absolutely crazy and down to the last play. As I go ahead and I send out Walnut just to go ahead and get started with some defensive shenanigans, as Klefki comes out as well. Very interestingly, I honestly thought that he was going to start setting up spikes, so he actually withdraws the Klefki and goes straight into the Talonflame. And I go ahead and just get my Stealth Rocks right away. Now, here I'm thinking he's going to Flare Blitz me, bring me down to my Sturdy. And of course, if you guys remember, I'm running Hidden Power Rock this week. And so I'm figuring I can live one. I'm going to go ahead and do that. But he actually ends up going for the Brave Bird. I actually found out afterwards that he has abandoned Talonflame. So the fact that he didn't go for Flare Blitz is quite strange, as he does do some recoil damage to himself. But we go ahead and get the Hidden Power off, and we're going to do a huge amount of damage to this thing. Enough for a 2-shot, which is really cool. And you know, he can't knock us out with another Brave Bird. And I was fearing that Flare Blitz and stuff, but I was thinking, you know, Walnut did its job. It weakened this Talonflame, which was such a huge threat. So we're gonna stay in. We're gonna go for the Hidden Power Rock. Any Brave Birds again? Like I said, I didn't know he was banded, so we're living this. And Walnut, being an absolute beast with that Hidden Power Rock, actually goes ahead and picks up the first knockout against this Talonflame, which I was shocked. I thought Talonflame was going to give us so much trouble this week, and here it goes down to Walnut carrying Hidden Power Rock. Up next, I think he brings in his Clefable, and I'm like, this thing definitely has Flamethrower. There's no second doubt in my mind. And, you know, Walnut really did his job, so I'm just going to go ahead and let him go down. I went for the Gyro Ball just in case he went for something else, but of course the Flamethrower comes off, connects, Walnut goes down. Which I'm not sure if I really do regret or not. Definitely sucks I couldn't have kept him around longer, but then he was at such low health that he couldn't have really lived a lot of different, what's it called, hits anyway. So I bring in Entei because I'm carrying Iron Head to really scare this thing out, and I'm really wanting the Cresselia to come in here. And so Clefable switches out and he goes right into the Toxapex, and I think instead of going for the Iron Head, I actually go ahead and try to Toxic. No, I do go for the Iron Head. So as you guys can see, Toxapex was a huge problem for me this week, really eating up any hits I really threw at it. Bulldoze was doing nothing, which is why I opted out of carrying it. So Entei gets swapped out for Escargot, who is able to really put on the pressure with this thing, really able to eat up any of the hits here. And the Toxic Spikes are now laid down, which absolutely sucks because I no longer have Walnut, but I do have Milf, our Nidoqueen, still. So she'll definitely be able to absorb those up afterwards. But the Toxapex goes ahead and gets out of there, and Klefki is sent in. I think I went for the Thunderbolt here just to go ahead and get damage off on the Toxapex. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And so there's that. I get some awesome damage on the Klefki. And here's where I start getting worried, because Klefki goes ahead and lands a Toxic on us with that Prankster ability, of course. And so now Goodra is on a timer, taking more Toxic damage with every turn. And so I just went ahead and went for the extra Thunderbolt just to really start to weaken his Mons, because that's really what was my plan, is to really weaken down his Mons and stuff, just so someone can come in and hopefully sweep. So not wanting any more toxic damage, I swap out and I go right into our Milf to go ahead and get up those Toxic Spikes before any other potential hazards do go down, such as these spikes here. And I'm also free to, Earth Power if I want to, but I believe that's what I went for, just because the possibility of knocking out this Klefki right now was too great, and the Cresselia, of course, goes ahead and comes in. I Earth Power. It's not going to do anything with that Levitate ability, and I was so close to clicking Sludge Wave, but it's like if it stays in, the Klefki stays in, it won't do anything, and so I had to take the risk there. Unfortunately, it did not play out for me, so I go ahead and I switch out into Entei once again, because Entei is carrying Toxic this week, especially primarily for this Cresselia to start weakening it. Get the Spikes damage now, and Cresselia goes for the Psyshock, and I believe it does a decent amount to us, but not too much. Yeah, it doesn't do too much to us. Cresselia getting back its health with the leftovers, but now an interesting play here comes for sure. I think it was this play. Yeah, he stays in, and I believe we both go for the Toxic here. Thankfully, I land mine, but unfortunately he lands his as well. We both had our own strategy for each other for the same Mons, as funny as it is, with Toxic to really wear stuff down. So Entei's poisoned now, Gudra's poisoned. This is not looking good for us. Entei's taking more and more damage, so I go ahead and swap out next turn, of course. Entei cannot do anything to this Cresselia, but the longer this Cresselia stays on the field, the more toxic damage it is racking up, so I go straight into Weavile, thinking another Psyshock is coming. He can't really do anything else to me, and he'll switch out, and I'll get a free knockoff going. The Spikes damage does come off again, which just sucks. Psyshock does nothing. So I basically got my Weavile in for almost for free. The Spikes damage does play a key factor later on in the match, as you guys will see, but I'm straight up going for the knockoff now just because of how just any damage is good damage and any item off is a good item off. So Toxapex comes in. We're going to go ahead and knock off the Black Sludge on it, and here for some reason I didn't notice that it was Regenerator. I don't know why I didn't notice this, but as you guys can see, that knockoff did a huge amount of damage. Huge amount of damage with Life Orb. But now there's nothing more that Scotty can do, and so I'm swapping directly right back into Escargot because Gudra's really our only main answer for this thing, unfortunately. And so Gudra comes in, it goes directly for the recover, gaining back all that health, which sucks. This Toxapex is, by God, the worst thing that could have come to this match here. So I don't remember exactly what I did here. Toxapex withdraws, sends out the Klefki once again. I think I just straight up went for the Thunderbolt again just to get more damage, and if I could knock out something, it's good. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. So the Thunderbolt connects. I think he might try and get up another layer of spikes here, but the paralysis is really beneficial for sure. If he does want to attack, he can't. I don't think he outspeeds Gudra, but he does go ahead and get up a second layer of spikes, which just sucks all around. Spikes is just one of those hazards that just is honestly the worst. But the Thunderbolt comes off. We are able to knock out the Klefki. Thank God, no third layer of spikes. But Gudra once again is just taking more and more poison damages. That's not what I want. And so now I have this Clefable coming in, takes the rocks damage. I believe I switched directly back into... No, I actually stay in, knowing that I'll outspeed, and I Sludge Wave it to damage it as much as I can. So that's a two-shot, but it does go for the Wish. And I'm thinking, oh god, this thing is a Wish Protect set. Knowing that he was going to Protect, though, I went ahead and I prioritized on that, and I actually ended up swapping out, I think, into my Entei, if I'm not mistaken. Or did I stay in? I think I swapped out. Yeah, I swapped out, thinking that I could easily keep Gudra for Death Fodder. No, I actually sent in the Nidoqueen here. Okay, because Sludge Wave would just do the same thing as Iron Head from Entei, so the Protect doesn't go off, but gets the Wish. That leftover is slowly recovering it more and more, so almost back up to health after all that work. But Clefable really can't do anything to Nidoqueen here. But I still went straight up for the Sludge Wave just to do more damage. This Cresselia does come in thinking that I'm going to Earth Power again or something. I don't know, but that it's really a good answer for Nidoqueen in general. But the Sludge Wave comes off, is able to do good damage, more and more chip damage on it as that poison damage just slowly racked off, sitting around 50% now. I think right here what I did was I swapped right into my Weavile once again, because I don't think I think my thought process here was if he's doing all this, I'm not fearing the Moonblast. The Moonblast isn't going to be here. Unfortunately, Scotty is taking more and more spikes damage, but I didn't think the Moonblast was coming, but instead the Moonlight is there, so another recovery move, able to get it back up to full health. But with the toxic damage slowly whittling it away more and more, you know, it can't stay on the field forever, and this just gives you another opportunity to go ahead and knock off. But I actually double back out into my Goodra, thinking that the Toxapex was coming in just to get one good Thunderbolt off. But of course, that toxic damage and the spike damage, I didn't account for everything in my head, so unfortunately Goodra comes in at the wrong time with that poison damage at the end of the turn and just gets knocked out. And was one big misplay on my part. Was I should have saved Goodra for a switch in where it wouldn't get the poison damage, just to go ahead and get that Thunderbolt off. But that unfortunately wasn't the case. Now 3 Scoops comes in, takes the spikes damage, and this is where things just got really stupid. I had to go for the Rock Slide flinches to slowly start to whittle this away, and I was praying that this thing would toxic me, would scald me, burn me, poison me, just so I could activate that Guts. And sure enough, he starts scalding, slowly trying to whittle things away, and so I just keep Rock Sliding. I honestly just keep Rock Sliding, hoping for a flinch to slowly start whittling this thing down. And so he goes for the Scald one more time, and I believe he ends up getting the burn here, which he does, yep, and that like made me super happy. It's like, okay, I need a flinch or a crit, and I'm good to go. This Toxapex is gone, and 3 Scoops is sitting really good. We get that Rock Slide off, and you guys are not going to believe how many this battle that took on. He's down into the red, I'm praying for the flinch. Doesn't get the flinch, but gets the recover off. Now, I'm thinking, come on, this is still a 2-shot. This is still a 2-shot. This is still a 2-shot. I got plenty of turns. And so Mark and I really played this battle of what's going to happen first. Am I going to die to the burn, or am I going to get the flinch? Am I going to get the crit? And right here, as you guys do see, we get the flinch. I'm thinking, this is going to be the closest roll ever. This Toxapex has to go down this turn. If not, I just need another flinch. There was a good chance of both. So the Rock Slide comes off, and you guys are gonna see just how much more damage that we needed with that Toxapex. And it was heartbreaking to me. Honestly, it was heartbreaking because I couldn't Drain Punch this thing because it wouldn't do enough to heal up 3 Scoops enough. So this thing pissed me off to no end. But the next Rock Slide that came off, I think we do end up getting the a flinch again. No, we don't. He ends up getting the recover. And so more and more, just he knows that he can win this battle now, which sucks because I'm slowly being whittled away more and more. And I think the next turn he's able to kill me with Scald and Burn damage. So I go ahead and get the Rock Slide off, and here is where I think, yeah, that is where the crit was. Gets the recover off. I'm just thinking, shit. Like, I'm sorry for swearing in my videos. I know I've done it in the past, but like this thing just will not die. And I need flinches. I need flinches. Please, 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 please. This is all I need. And the music's all sad now. But yeah, it's like I just need to damage this thing just far enough. We get the flinch. And I think I got one more good turn here with 3 Scoops, which is unfortunate. One more Rock Slide. It's like, please, just one more flinch. That's all I need. That's all I need. And sure enough, we get the second flinch. I'm thinking, there's no way. There is no way. There's no way. Is this really going to happen? Am I going to win this battle? But he withdraws at the last second to get that regenerator, and I was so pissed off. The Cresselia comes in. I'm just like, no! I was so close to killing this thing. The Rock Slide comes off. Fortunately enough for me, I didn't miss any Rock Slides, which was actually really nice. And we ended up doing a really crazy amount of damage to that Cresselia, surprisingly. And, of course, burn damage. Takes down Conkeldurr, 3 Scoops. Put up a good battle, but the flinches just weren't in our luck today. One week it's Icicle Crash, the next week it's Stone Edges, this week it's the flinch. I shouldn't bank off of it, I know, but it's still that good possibility of it happening. Scotty comes in, more spikes damage. Like, that's the only damage that Scotty's ever taken, except for its Life Orb damage, I think, that it has. So Cresselia swaps out, and guess who comes back in, guys? Toxapex. Don't you just love this thing? I go for the knockoff just because that's really all I want to do. And, you know, once again, we're sitting at that spot where I could potentially knock him out. I couldn't, and I go for the knockoff one more time, praying that it knocks out, and I end up picking the knockout. I think it was like a 50% chance roll to knock it out there, and I'm so glad that Scotty was able to pick up that knockout, and a Selgor comes in. Now, here is where I will say I misplayed. For me, I'm going to pause the video right here. As you guys see, I do swap out. For my thought process, it's like, okay, who is more valuable to me? Is it Entei with Iron Head? Or is it Nidoqueen with the Sludge Wave? And I'm like, well, I can't remember why it was. I think the flinch potential with Entei is what attracted me to it more so, even though it was poisoned. But I do make a very bad choice here in my decision of who I should sack off, and unfortunately Nidoqueen was the one I did sack off. And if I would have played a little bit better, if I would have done Entei, it would have been a different story for sure, as I could have at least the Selgor goes out, Cresselia comes in. Oh, wait, maybe it was a little bit further down, but you guys will see that once a Selgor does come in, that I do make a very bad choice here. The Sludge Wave does come off once again, hits this Cresselia. We're sitting good. Next turn, it'll knock it out. We outspeed, guaranteed. Nothing wants to come in. So I believe he actually just ends up letting this Cresselia go. Yeah, he ends up letting the Cresselia go, and yeah, this is the reason. Yeah, the fact that I brought MILF in here was a terrible decision, because I could have played around with it more and more. All in all, because this, well, no, this is where it decided. This is where the big decision was. It was either to let Nidoqueen stay in or sack off Entei, and I felt like Entei could have put in more work. And Final Gambit comes off, Selgor's gone. MILF is down, and I do regret this decision. I should have let Entei go, because Nidoqueen would have been able to wrap it up. But unfortunately, I just thought that Entei would have been able to do it with the flinches. More poison, more spikes damage comes off, and this is where things honestly just get crazy, guys. This is where my luck kind of ran out. My luck really did run out right here. As you guys do see, Mark just starts going for the Protect to slowly start getting poison damage to rack up on me. I'm just going to go ahead and click Iron Head, just because if I can let this thing, get this thing down to a certain amount of HP, Weavile can come in and Poison Jab, and I'm still sitting good, and this match is mine. I'm thinking I've won at this point, so I'm just going to continue clicking Iron Head. We get the Iron Head off, and we do a huge amount of damage. As you see, we get the flinch, which is crazy, because I know Mark was going for the Wish there. But once again, you know, Mark he really decided to play the chance. He played the chance here, ladies and gentlemen. He went for the Protect, one Protect. Iron Head misses, more poison damage. More leftovers recovery. So there's one Protect. Entei takes that poison damage. I got one more turn. Entei has to do this. I'm thinking he won't land the second Protect. He gets the second Protect. I'm like, God darn it, you know? This is just crazy. He got the second Protect. But you know what? That leftovers damage, he's still sitting at below 50%. Weavile does minimum 50% with Poison Jab, with the Life Orb, and to a fully physically defensive Clefable. I have won. I'm still thinking I've won. This Spikes damage is super crazy. I'm like, I got one hit left. This is where I live. This is what happens. I win. Nope. Mark got off 3 Protects in a row. And I'm thinking, there's no freaking way. And I'm looking at this last leftovers recovery. He barely hits over 50%. 50% was the absolute min roll. I go for the Poison Jab. I land it, of course. I'm like, this is it. This is where I win. And he lives on 1 HP with the poison. My Life Orb recoil knocks me out. And on 1 HP poison Clefable, Mark defied all odds, got a triple protect off, and lived. And I got the min roll on the poison jab. So unfortunately, your Salt Lake City Swampert went into week 4 0-3. Which sucks because I felt like I played really well. The thing with the Toxapex sucked. The thing with the Gudra really sucked because I totally forgot about the extra spikes damage and the poison damage at the end of the turn. More so the poison damage instead of the spikes damage. It just hurts. Like, I gave Mark a lot of props for that triple protect just because, you know, he really did fight for that protect. He fought for the win, you know, I give him credit for that, but, you know, just that RNG in my favor really sucked. Like, you guys can look at it. It was Life Orb, Jolly frickin' Weavile against a fully defensive 252 HP, 252 defense, Bold Clefable. It did min 50%, and Mark lived on 1 HP. 1 HP with that Clefable, and I could not believe it. And it hurts. It hurts. I've never been beaten this badly, you know? And, you know, for week 4, we just got to keep our heads up and, you know, hopefully next week will be a different story. But thank you guys so much for watching this post commentary for this week 3 battle video. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up for your thumb bro. And if you enjoy the content that you are seeing here, please subscribe. I try and make videos weekly with this kind of stuff. I'm hoping to start up a Let's Play sooner or later here once again on the channel. But if you're looking for Let's Play stuff, I do have another channel associated with the LDL through my TLTPG page with all the other guys from TLTPG. I'll make sure to leave that in the description below. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check that out. Yeah, and my name's Brother 2 guys, and I'll see you guys for week 4.